Hey guys, this is Hell Hades, another Raid Shadow Legends video. So I've already done my top 20 legendaries in the game. This video is going to be about the epics. So my top 20 epics, I'm not going to do these ordered, I'm literally just going to go through in order of faction and pick out the ones which I think are really relevant for everybody in the game. So fortunately Bannerlords strikes out 0 in the top 20 for me, but High Elves we do have a couple. So I want to start with probably my favourite, definitely in the top 5 for me. One of my favourite epics in the game. He's super fun, he's pretty cool, he's got a really versatile kit. What people review him, really high reviews, which is right. So yeah, so basically Royal Guard. Royal Guard is really strong in the Spider, it's really strong in Dragon. That's probably it. That's probably his two main areas really, but he just like flexes his muscles and does a big slam hit. I've got a video out with him paired with Prince Kaimar, and you can see some of the crazy hits he can do. But in terms of base stats, reasonable base stats, not amazing base stats. Okay speed, pretty low actually, 93 is a bit low. Average hit points, decent attack, low defense. So he's actually fairly difficult to keep alive if he starts taking hits, but when he starts laying his nukes down, basically he doesn't take hits because everybody is dead. So his A1 has got a decreased defense on it. It's the stronger version of decreased defense. It's got 50% chance of placing it, and he took that up to 65. So it's pretty good return for the A1 versus a lot of A1s in the game. Actually, it's strong. You know, you've got a decent ability coming off of it. It does hit hard. It's a good ability. I'll go to his A3 next. His A3 hits 4 times. It's at random, so that can be a problem in someone like Spiders. But it has a chance, a 60% chance, booked up to 75, of landing the bigger decreased speed. So another good debuff that you can land on things like Spider. Can't land it on Dragon, but you can land it on the mobs leading up to Dragon. And also has a chance of decreasing turn meter with this. This for Spider is a really great ability. But then the piece de resistance, his takedown is just fun to watch. So attacks all enemies. Damage is according to max enemy HP. So if you're in any of the level 20 content, he absolutely lays down a pile driver and slams it at the Spider. I've had over 2 million K crits, over 2 million hit point crits with this ability with him. What I will say is he needs a defense down on an enemy before he will do this ability. So you either need to pair him with somebody that will do an AoE defense down before him, or you have to wait until he lands this before he will go in and do takedown. If you're on Spider, try and pair him up with somebody that's going to do the setup. I call it the setup. So you want to set up with your defense down AoE, and he will come in and land the nukes. So that is Royal Guard. Really good champion. The next one is actually sitting right beside him. He's also good to set him up. So Tayrell's really strong in Spider, Dragon, Clan Boss, and actually pretty strong in Arena as well. Really versatile champ. Again, probably one of the top 5 epics in the game. So when I said he could set up Royal Guard, he does have an attack all enemy, decreased defense. When booked, 100% chance. It's the larger of the two, so it's a larger decreased defense. Also, on his A1, he's got a decreased attack, only hits one enemy. He's got a 40% chance of placing this, but it's 2 hits. So actually, that basically he's got that twice, and that goes up to 50 when booked. So pretty much you'll hit it every time as long as you've got the right accuracy. Damage inflicted is defense, so actually he's a defense-based champion, which is always strong in current content. The defense-based champions just rule the game at the moment. So when you land your decreased attack, his A2 also has a chance to put the enemies to sleep. So anyone who's got decreased attack will put the enemies to sleep for 1 turn as well. So again, really strong ability. And then this ability here, not suitable for Clan Boss, but really good in other areas of the game, especially Spider. So it attacks one enemy, it hits pretty hard, decreases the turn meter by 50%. if it fully depletes the turn meter, it can place a stun on that enemy. So in arena, this is pretty nice if you're just trying to stun one person out of the game. Yeah, really strong ability, really strong champion. He's also got an aura which affects all battles, 25% increased defense. So for clan boss, this is a great aura as well. If you get this guy, clan boss is your kind of primary setup, and then you also probably want to try and use him spider, and some people will use him arena and dragon as well. So cool champs there. There's one more that I just want to call out in this group. Oh, not this group, sorry. Next one along, Sacred Order. I guess most people probably wouldn't have her in a top 20. I really like her. I think she's one of the most underestimated champions in the game for an epic. So she has got most of her kit. So her kit is pretty average. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Nothing special about it. Hits reasonably hard. Her A2 is what is where it starts getting interesting. So increases her own attack, increases her own crit rate by 30%. You actually only need to get to 70% crit rate for this to be effective. And it lasts for 2 turns, and then she attacks all enemies. So it's an AoE attack. I mean, it's got here a couple of things. So if she's paired with someone called Fenax, then she gets the opportunity to lay some bombs. But this does insane damage. This ability here, again, if you've got someone who goes before her that can do a decreased defense, this ability will clear out an arena team. It's an absolute nuke, AoE nuke, really strong ability. And that's really why I've got her in here, because she can wipe out dungeon waves, she can wipe out full arena teams with this ability. A third ability, so it places a counter attack on her, got 75% chance to place weaken. It's okay, it's not a bad ability, but she's all about the A2, that's why I've got her in here for a bit of a honorary mention. Anyone who's got this champ sitting on this champ in the vault, give her some love, let her loose in the arena, and you'll see the sort of damage she can do. So let's move on. Fortunately, barbarians, nothing here, nothing worth talking about. Let's go on to Ogryn's tribes. So everybody's favourite counter attacker, Skull Crusher, cool champion, looks really cool. I really like him actually. It's my only counter attack champion, so he gets a lot of playtime with me. His primary use is clan boss, so clan boss he's really strong. But he's also pretty effective in dungeons, effective in the arena. It depends what sort of level of gaming you are, but this guy will kind of carry you through, definitely up to sort of levels 17 or so in a lot of the dungeons. So what's he known for? Not this ability. Attacks one enemy, got a chance to put a heal reduction debuff on. It's actually pretty useful in Fire Knights. He's good to take in Fire Knights because he gives everybody else counter attack, and he's got a chance of placing this weaker version of heal reduction on the Fire Knight boss, which is really helpful when that Fire Knight keeps healing back up. But what he's known for is this one, so 50% ally protection on allies, so all allies take 50% less damage. He takes it instead, and at the same time he puts an unkillable buff on himself and a counter attack buff on everybody else except him. A really, really strong ability. A clan boss, it's almost a necessity to have somebody with this type of ability. It increases your damage a huge amount. He's also got a passive where at the start of each round he can decrease the duration of all debuffs. So if he's sitting there and he's got a 1 turn taunt on him, for example, it will drop off and it'll just do his normal ability. Pretty cool champion. It's got to be up there as, again, one of the sort of top 5 or so, just because of how useful he is across the whole game. So if we then go into Bolt Brawler, again, super cool looking champ actually. This guy came out not that long ago, and I basically pulled him into my clan boss team ahead of Steel Skull for a long time. Got a really, really reliable way of laying poisons on. So attacks one enemy with A1, 50% chance of placing a poison, which you can get up to 60. So that's pretty good. Poison for 2 turns, good chance of doing it, so 60% chance. He's also got a passive which will place a 2.5% poison on himself, but a 5% poison on an enemy, a random enemy, for 4 turns. You can actually use masteries to get up to 5 turns. So if you're facing the clan boss, and I'd say he's only really useful in the clan boss, but he's very useful there. You've got an amazing chance of laying a poison at the start of each turn. So you lay a poison here, potentially lay a poison here as well, and before you know it, the clan boss is just stacked up with poisons because of this guy. Then got a pretty unique A2. So basically, the more debuffs he gets on him, he starts to unlock different abilities, and all of these kick in together. So if you read through this here, so basically, if he's got 1 or more debuff, he'd start to ignore defense. 30% defense, that's a lot. If he's under 2 debuffs, the enemy's kill bonus still can't be revived. It's really unusual for that to kick in. It's so situational. When I first saw this, I thought, maybe that'll be Ice Golem territory, but it's just so unlikely that he's going to use it at the right time. If there's 3 or more debuffs, it's always a critical hit. 4 or more debuffs, he heals for 30% of the damage, so it's almost like a built-in lifesteal. And in 5 or more debuffs, he gets an extra turn. Now against clan boss, you can, if you're manual in on clan boss, you can get this extra turn a lot of the time. You'll definitely get the heal. You choose when you want to put it on. It's a really good champion. So it clears all the debuffs off him after the attack. So let's say you're in a, let's think about it. So if you're in a clan boss fight and you're against a green affinity and he's put reduced speed on you, you put your own poisons on yourself, you use this ability here, it cleans off the reduced speed and potentially gives you an extra turn. A really cool ability. Good champion. Really good. If you got him, get him into your clan boss team. Really good epic. So another one in Ogryn tribes is Maneater. Really well known champion, I'd say. Very cool. Really versatile. Got a decreased attack on his A1, which makes him clan boss viable. Anyone who's got decreased attack on A1, when you pair them with a counter attack champion, the chance of them landing it is really high. So this guy's got a 50% chance. So really good. It's a place. Attacks one enemy, places 1 on all enemies if the attack's a critical hit. You need to get his crit rate up, which is more difficult to do than perhaps some of the other champs that have got the decreased attack. So he's not top tier for decreased attack, but he's not a bad champion, not a bad option. Some of the other utility he brings makes this worthwhile. So this isn't suitable for clan boss, but it's really cool in places like Spider. So fully depletes the target's turn meter. Fills this champion's turn meter by the amount that the target lost. Get this down to 3 turn cooldown. So actually you can hit the spider when it's nearly full turn meter, take all that turn meter away and put it on Maneater, so he basically gets 2 turns in a row. Really strong, really strong. He's very strong in clan boss, very strong in spider. He's pretty strong in arena as well. And in his A3, basically puts an unkillable buff and block debuff buff on all allies. So he basically gives you 2 turns where you can't take poison, you can't die, there's no decreased defenses and stuff coming on you. Really strong ability. So yeah, he's also got a reasonable aura as well, so 33% in dungeons. I'd say he's probably most useful in Spider. He used to be used in Clan Boss for an unkillable comp. Still is, I think, in places, but that's been nerfed a bit now. But still, really effective. So let's come out of Ogryn tribes. Let's just go into the lizards. Jarek's here. So Jarek's, I'd say, top 2 epics. A clan boss for this attack down ability. It's what he's best known for, really. I'd say outside of clan boss, he's fairly ineffective. He hits very weak. But on clan boss, he basically gives you 2 turns of decreased attack, the stronger version of it. 35% chance, which books up to 60%. It's a pretty decent chance to land it. Only attacks 1 time, so he's got less of a chance than someone like a Tyrell. But some of his other utility make up for that weakness. So this is a nice one. So if you've got a Skull Crusher who's done an ally protection on wave 1 of clan boss, Jarek can come in, do the same ally protection on wave 2. Skull Crusher's taking all of the damage wave 1. Jarek takes all of the damage wave 2. That will take you through much longer into the fight than if you didn't have it on. Otherwise, Skull Crusher tends to die wave 2 when you get a bit later in the fight. At the same time he's increasing defense on everybody. 2 turns. Again, that's a really strong ability in Clan Boss. And then when someone loses 20% of their HP, he'll place a heal on them as well, 15% heal for 1 turn. With the right masteries, that can become 2 turns, and this can all become 3 turns, depending on RNG. So really strong champ, only really for Clan Boss. Okay, let's move on. Skinwalkers. So Skinwalkers, only one really to call out here is Steel Skull. Still one of the best poisoners in the game for Clan Boss. The reason I say that, his chance to land it is not super high. Can be frustrating at times actually, but he's got what, 25, 35% chance to land. He attacks twice, so he's got that 2 times. It's a stronger poison, so the poison goes on for 2 turns, which you can use masteries to potentially get that to 3 turns. So that A1's good. If you've got a counter attack set up, then he's getting those A1s in often, and you do see the poison start to rack up. That's useful. If he's your only poisoner in Clan Boss, he probably doesn't do enough poison. But it's A2, very strong as well for Clan Boss, so you can remove the stun, which hit one of your champions, and heal them at the same time. So you remove the stun, that champion gets his turn, and he gets a big heal. So you can get up to 50% heal on a 3 turn cooldown, which is the same as what you need for Clan Boss. And then last ability basically increases defense on everybody. Again, really strong for Clan Boss, and gives everybody a 20% heal of their max HP. Very strong ability. He's got a faction Crips aura, it's not that strong. Got good base stats. Look at this base speed, 111 for an epic's really high. Decent base HP, pretty low base defense, and actually you still need to stack him in defense for Clan Boss. But good champion. He's also pretty useful in Spider. You can clear off the poisons off of the guy that's taking the beatings with his A2. And poisons actually are pretty effective on late game Spider as well. So that is the Lizards. Let's look at some Orcs. Orcs have got a couple of people that I really like. So we've got Zardgala. Zardgala has got to be up there as well, top 5 I'd say. Her kit is absolutely mental. Her kit is legendary. If you put these items or this kit on a legendary champion, but just had this kind of legendary buff to stats, it would be perfect. She's just got such a good variety of kit for an offensive champion. A1 has a chance to place the better version of Weaken, only for 1 turn, so that's not like overpowered. I'd say if you push this up to legendary, you might want to see 2 turns here, but it does a lot of damage and it's a good A1. A2 attacks 1 enemy and activates her A3 if you kill someone with it. If you're doing a wave, she's best used in dungeons really. Someone like a Dragon Run, she's brilliant. She's good in the arena as well. If you go in and kill somebody, she instantly activates her A3, which is this one. So she's basically doing 2 abilities in 1 turn. Now A3 attacks everybody, so it's an AoE, and has a 50% chance of placing the higher version of decreased defense on all enemies for 2 turns. That's 50% chance. You can actually book that up to 75%. It's crazy strong ability. If you just throw this out there without the A2 hitting, you've still got this kind of decreased defense going across pretty much the whole wave. She is great to set up Royal Guard. She's great to set you up in the arena. Just a super cool champ. Really good. I really like her. The other person to call out here is Seer. So Seer, really useful in dungeons. You can get her in kind of real speed farm compositions. Very unique kit. So A1, nothing special apart from you do get a chance that goes up to what, 20% chance to get an extra turn. And I've had this proc 2 or 3 times in a row and pretty much set up the rest of her abilities, so it is useful. Her A2 increases crit rate on everybody by 30%, that's a stronger version, and she lays a weaken down to everybody, all enemies, for 2 turns. You can book that on a 3 turn cooldown, and then this is what she's known for. So she removes all buffs from allies and enemies. This is cool in the arena, by the way. Then attacks all enemies, and her attack grows depending on how many buffs she steals. It also scales really great if you've got decreased defense on them first and weaken on them first. So there was a time where she was completely overpowered, and I actually did a spider run in 16 seconds and hit the spider for 6 million with this ability. One shot the spider, but they tweaked that now. She's not as effective in spider, but she's really effective in things like ice golems, dragon, arena. Again, people trying to put her back in the vault when they nerfed her, but she's still really strong. She's got good base speed. She needs a setup. She needs a setup to make this work. So you need champions on your side that have got a lot of buffs. Still Skull's good, Bad Elves good. Anyone who's going to put 1 or 2 buffs on your team. She's really great in Faction Wars as well, because a lot of the enemy have buffs in Faction Wars. So she'll just go and strip all of those buffs away and nuke at the same time. She's really cool. That is the Orcs. Let's go on to Demonspawn. We've got Nazana to pull out. Nazana is just a kind of a hyper carry, really, a tank. She's got AoEs on her abilities, so that's always strong. If you put her in a kit which is like a stun set or a provoke set or a sleep set, all of those type of things will just help you carry your way through dungeons. So her A1 is just an AoE, but it does a reasonable level of damage. Her A2 gives you the ally protection again, so protects 50% of the damage anyone else is taking, and she gets a shield at the same time. The shield's equal to 40% of her HP, so you build her in high HP, you get a big old shield, throws her protection up, and she's taking half of their damage. Good ability. This is where the carry element comes from. So she is just basically chunking some of the damage that your hard hitters are going to put out. And then her A3 attacks all enemies and has got, when booked, 75% chance of putting a decreased attack on. So again, if you're against some strong hitters like let's say Dragon 20, on that second wave where people come and start really hurting, actually that's a really good ability to lay down. Good champion, sort of more of a carry champ than a kind of overall damage dealer, but definitely worth a mention. Actually, I'm just going to mention one more in here. This is a new champ. I really like her. I'm just kind of playing around with her abilities and stuff at the moment. I'm probably going to do a video on her next week. So Umbral Enchantress, she has got attacks one enemy on her A1, damage increases as her HP decreases. Why that's useful in a minute. Her A2 attacks all enemies, 80% chance of putting a block buffs on them. That's for 3 turns. 3 turns is long. Got her in arena and she plays that. That is a long time for the enemy to not be able to buff their champions. Really long. And then her A3 basically places an unkillable buff on herself. She provokes all of the enemy team and she puts her own skills on cooldown. This is super strong. 2-turn provoke is really strong in the arena. Imagine she goes first, he blocks all her debuffs. Goes second, he provokes everybody, puts an unkillable buff on herself, and the rest of your team just go ham, absolutely down while she's taking all of the flak. She can't die. While she's taking all of that damage, she then gets another turn, and her A1 starts to scale really hard because her HP has basically gone down to 1. Now she takes all of that damage, she's going to be on 1 HP. This A1 then starts to really hurt people. So look, she's a really interesting champion. As I say, I'm building her up at the moment. Scales on defense as well, which means that she's going to hit pretty hard. If you've got her, don't sit on her. She's going to be really strong. Definitely in the arena, probably in dungeons as well. So, Demonspawn's done. There's probably a few in there I could call out. Trademark, really strong. Didn't quite make the top 20, but she is probably close to it, to be fair. Actually, I'm going to speak about her because she is really good. So she's one of these attack down champions, really good for clan boss. Hits twice. If it's a critical hit, she's got a really high chance, 100% chance of placing this decreased attack. She does it's an AoE as well, actually, so it's not just for clan boss. It'll be good in some of the dungeons as well. She is known for being clan boss because she's void affinity. So when the clan boss goes below 50% and he changes to one of the different affinities, she doesn't get any kind of negative impact for that. She's got an A2, which again is an AoE, so we've got 2 AoEs so far. When booked, 50% chance of placing a decreased accuracy buff. And her A3 So it attacks one enemy, removes all buffs from the target, and she gains those buffs. So again, if you can imagine the clan boss puts the increased attack on himself, she goes in, takes it off of him, she takes it on for herself. In the arena, if she goes in and steals a buff, she's removed all the buffs and she gets them all. So yeah, really strong ability. She is actually super strong. And all of her stuff is based on defense, 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 and attack. So you can actually make her into a hyper tank as well, and she will do work for you. She is good. Okay, moving on. So where we go next? Undead. Undead, we've got someone it was kind of the most sought after arena champion for a long time until Arbiter came along. He's got a good speed aura for arena, 23%. Not legendary level, but not far off it. A1's got a chance of removing a random buff, so that's booked up to 75. It's pretty decent. This is where you start to get the reason why he's arena champion. So fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. It's okay, but puts an increased attack buff on everyone as well. So you're basically making everyone have a go quicker, increasing their attack, so that they can kind of nuke down opponents. And then he's also got this ability which revives any dead allies and heals them at the same time. It's really strong. He's great in the arena. He's useful in dungeons. I'd say he's also pretty useful in early game clan boss until you get something a bit better. You know, he can revive your champions. He can heal your champions. He can increase their turn meter. So early game clan boss is not bad as well. This is a relatively new champion, Mausoleum Mage. I've not had any kind of experience with him yet, but I know a lot of people are talking about him right now. He has got a really good kit actually, so he's like a support champion really. He's a bit like a watered down version of like a bad L or something like that. So attacks one enemy, 30% chance of decreasing speed, pretty strong, goes up to 50% with books. This is one of his best abilities here, so places block debuff buff on all allies. People can't come at you with the decreased defenses and that type of stuff. Places an increased crit rate buff and increased defense on all allies. That's really strong. The increase in their crit 30%, so you don't need to get everyone up to that 100 mark. Increasing their defense with the bigger increased defense. So that ability there is super strong for a support champ. So is this one. So next ability is A3, removes all debuffs from allies and heals based on this champion's match HP. So you want to get him high HP here. Basically as well, you get additional healing for additional debuffs that are removed. So if you remove 2 or 3, you actually get another 20% odd heals, and you get turn meter gain as well. So, you know, it just becomes a really strong ability in the arena. It's also pretty strong for clan boss, so you can remove that stunning clan boss and give you HP back. So that's a pretty cool place to use it as well. So if we go on to Dark Elves, I'm going to call out Lure, because she's a void champ, quite difficult to get, but she's got pretty basic A1, so deals 50%. Basically, she attacks one enemy and then she hits the rest of the enemies by 50% of the damage she's done here if it's a crit. Pretty much always that's going to be an AoE if you've got it built right. The A2 attacks all enemies 3 times. Each crit heals his champion. That hurts a lot if you build it right. And then her A3 attacks just one enemy, basically depletes their turn meter and ignores any shields and block damage. So if you're in the arena against people that are throwing up the block damage debuff, she'll hit through that and kill someone. Or at least decrease their turn meter and do a massive hit. It's really strong. She's a really strong arena champion. She's pretty strong as well for Spider because she can do the fully deplete turn meter. She's got a lot of AoE. Yeah, good useful champion. This is one of my favourite, probably my favourite, I'd say, at least top 2 epics at the moment. So she, Madame Cerise, again in the Dark Elves. So she's just got bags of utility. I'm using her in my arena team at the moment at the top level of Plat. She would have been in a couple of the videos I've done recently. She's got a chance to place a fear on her A1. The chance increases the more debuffs the enemies have got. Got an A2 which attacks all enemies. It doesn't do much damage. It does a little bit of damage. She's got 40% booked up to 50% chance of stealing a random buff from everybody. If she steals any buffs at all, she'll put block debuffs on your team for 2 turns. That's super strong in the arena. It's actually super strong in some of the faction war content as well. And then she also places a true fear on the enemy who have had buffs stolen, providing your accuracy is high enough. Really strong ability. True fear is really strong as well. Basically, there's 50% chance that if someone tries to use an ability, if it goes off, the true fear goes off, and it's a 50-50 chance, then that person misses a turn and loses that ability. The ability still goes on cooldown. Really strong. And then Array 3 strips enemies of all buffs, places a stronger decreased attack and stronger decreased defense on all enemies for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. It's just an insane ability for the arena. You know, if you've got someone who's laid on all the counter attacks and, you know, unkillables and that sort of stuff, he wipes it all clean and makes them really vulnerable at the same time. Super strong ability. And she's actually got a cool passive as well, so she gets a shield buff on herself, equal to 10% of her HP at the start of each turn. Basically, while she's attacked under that shield buff, she's got a 35% chance of placing a fear as well. That goes off pretty often. 1 in 3 hits it's going to go off. So, really strong champion, super good in the arena, pretty useful in all dungeons as well, actually. So, where are we going next? Night Reverence. Night Reverence, so another one of the new champs. Came out at the same time as Madame Cerise. The miscreated monster, really cool design. Love this champion. I wish I had him. Really cool. He's just got an insane kit. So this guy is suitable for Nightmare campaign farming. Suitable for pretty much every part of the game apart from Clan Boss. Got an A1, which 2 times, when booked, up to 25% chance of placing a stun. Goes off often. You know, it goes off pretty often considering it's an A1. 50% chance of placing decreased defense as well. So basically, if it doesn't place a stun, 50% chance then of placing decreased defense. Damage is based on HP, and he does do damage. You can build his HP up, he does a decent chunk of damage. His A2 is an AoE, and this is 50% chance of placing a stun on everybody for a turn. Also places a shield on all allies 3 turns based on 25% of the damage you do. In the spider, this guy, because of that ability, an absolute beast. He hits all the spiders, stuns a good chunk of them, and gives all of your team insane shields. If you've got this guy and you're struggling with spider, get him in your spider team. He is insane. And then there's A3, another really useful ability. So 50% ally protection for 3 turns. 3 turns is so long. Heals this champion by 50% of their max HP, and then puts heals on this champion for 3 turns as well. Taking more damage for 3 turns, but he's got heals coming in for 3 turns. And it's on a 4-turn cooldown if you book it. Really good. And if we look at his passive, so he's got the fear ability as well. So basically, whenever any... so places a fear debuff on the attacker for 1 turn, whenever an ally is attacked under that ally protection. He throws this on. Anyone who gets attacked whilst they're under this protection gets a fear put on them. It's insane. His whole kit is actually meant. And then he's got an arena HP aura as well, which is a strong one. So yeah, all in all, this guy, you can use him pretty much anywhere. I wouldn't use him Clan Boss, but I'd pretty much use him anywhere else, and he would be a carry for you. So in here, we've got one more that I want to talk about. I could talk about Sinisha. She's good. Doom Priest is good. But this Skull Crown's pretty much a legendary, sitting in an epic skin. Insane damage, insane ability. I've done a full overview video on her. She's got an A1 that's an AoE. Basically gets an extra hit if the target's got more than 50% of their HP. Does a lot of damage this. Got an A2, again it's an AoE, and it's got a chance to place a weaken. That's useful, but this ability is actually just a nuke. In the arena, this can wipe out a whole team easily. It's an absolute nuke. Then That's what she's there for. She's there to absolutely wipe out a team or to clear a dungeon wave in a couple of hits. She also, if she drops below 20% of her HP, she becomes unkillable. That lasts for 1 turn. So in the arena, she can take a hell of a load of damage. She remains unkillable. She comes out of that damage wave, lays the nuke, and wipes out the team. Super strong. She does pair up with Sinisha as well, so she has a chance to revive. Pretty situational, obviously, but in faction war, something like that, then that can be quite a nice little synergy. And she's got a strong arena aura as well. All in all, really good champion. Really high base attack. Okay base speed. The defense and HP are both low, so she's quite squishy, but she's got the unkillable, so she kind of gets away with it. But yeah, really strong. So let's move on to the dwarves, my last faction. So I just want to call out 2 here. To be fair, most of these epics in the dwarves are strong. Actually, they've kind of, when dwarves were released, they were released and everyone was like, oh, what an awful bunch of champions. But they made some tweaks. They've now got some good champs in here. First one I'm going to call out is Grizzled Joel. He's getting a lot of airtime in the clan boss. Imagine, yeah, look at these ratings, really high across the boards. So he's got an attack 1 enemy, booked up 50% chance of 100% heal reduction to the stronger one for 2 turns. It's okay, heal reduction's pretty situational. I'd say, you know, it only really comes into effect to someone like Fire Knights to properly get use for it. There's A2 where it's all out though, so it places a block debuff on all allies for 1 turn. So that will stop the clan boss from stunning your team. If you get him booked, if you get him sped up to the right place so that he goes last, just before the clan boss does his stun. He's got an increased defense turns. Again, that's just really useful for clan boss fights. He's got an A3, which is an AoE decrease attack. So again, you've got this decrease attack ability coming into the clan boss. Booked up 100% chance, and it lasts for 2 turns. And in other areas of the game, also decreases target's match HP. So in level 20 dungeons, somewhere like dragons is going to be useful. Yeah, but I'd say his main place is clan boss really. Good champion. If you're sitting on him and you're struggling for a decreased attack champion, and you're struggling with that kind of controlling the stun on the clan boss, this guy good. I've seen people use him in 30 million plus comps for Ultimate Nightmare. So that's him, and then one more I just want to call out is Rockbreaker. I'm doing a lot of work with him at the moment. I'm going to try and do an arena team with just epics next week. This guy has got a really good kit actually. He's got high base defense, and he's just interesting. He's got interesting sort of different kit to normal. So an A1 basically attacks an enemy, increasing this champion's defense by 4% each time you use this skill, up to 20. Imagine that, 20% more defense just from using A1. It's really strong, and he's got a good base defense. So if you stack him up on defense, this just grows and grows. An A2, which is a provoke. It's only a 1-turn provoke, which is a shame. If it was 2, he would be probably a bit overpowered for an epic. But he also gets a counter attack on him as well for 2 turns. It provokes everybody, they're all hitting him, he's counter attacking. And his passive kind of goes hand in hand with this provoke ability. So 25% chance, which you can buff up to 50% chance, decreasing damage inflicted on this champion by 50% each time this champion is attacked. The 1 in 2 chances of him being attacked, you start to reduce the damage he takes. I don't know how much that scales. I don't know if it scales infinitely, so that if he's taken 15 hits, then he basically becomes unkillable. But I'm going to do some work with this guy. I think he can be a super carry in the arena for a defensive composition. And he's got an aura which is arena defense as well, so that's pretty useful. That's Rockbreaker. So look, that's my top 20 epics. I'd say if you've got any of those epics and you've got books lying around, get those books out, get them in your teams, and yeah, start helping yourself to clear some of that content. I've been Hell Hades. This is my channel Addicted to Gaming. Catch you all later.